Okay, it's time for the exciting conclusion to A Rebel in Owen County. A story about U.S. Marshall Willis Russell. So it's part 4, and all right, here's what's going on. Okay, so on his return, you have all this. The Cluxers are outside Willis Russell's house, and the county attorney has pistols in his hand, and he's got, he's with the Cluxers also. So yeah. So you have the county attorney who's, I mean, no wonder the lawlessness was going on in the county, because the county attorney wasn't enforcing the law as he should have. So on his return to Owenton, Mr. Perry, who was the county attorney, Mr. Perry, I don't remember what his first name was. Just County Attorney Perry. That's all I got. Okay, so County Attorney Perry swore out writs for Willis Russell and 2 Walker boys who were helping him. So there's 2 Walker boys who was helping Willis Russell, and the county attorney was able to get some writs. I guess it's some document to go arrest people. The police judge of Owenton, who issued those writs, had acknowledged that he himself was Ku Klux. So the judge who even gave the writs to arrest Willis Russell was also Ku Klux. So the Ku Klux Klan was embedded in the county officials in Owen County. The Ku Klux Klan was the county officials. So Willis Russell was having to do a lot of this independently, and just with the, I guess, the light of his heart. He just knew what was right and what was wrong, and he knew that killing innocent people over and over again was wrong. One of the few people in Owen County to stand up to him, and most of the time the white people are too scared to do anything about the Ku Klux Klan, and that's why they get away. So the Klan isn't just terrorizing black folks; they're terrorizing everybody. And like they had said before, they're going after the radicals, who wanted the institution of slavery to be demolished. Okay, so the sheriff then came to Monterey, and stopping at the edge of the town, told a citizen that he had writs for Tom Walker and Willis Russell. So you got the sheriff, the county attorney, and then you got the police judge of Owenton. So okay, so you got lots of Owen County officials. So. And so the sheriff tells one guy that he's going after Willis Russell and that he's come to take us. The citizen did not think that we would surrender, as the road was lined with Ku Klux, and remarked that some men who were then with the sheriff and acting as his posses had been spotted as Ku Klux for the last year. He said he thought he would be foolish to surrender to such men. When the sheriff came into town, I showed him my authority as Deputy United States Marshal, and I told him all the circumstances, and he replied, this is the sheriff who's trying to arrest the United States Marshal, and he replied that he did not doubt my authority, but he said that he could not recognize it. I then refused to surrender, and although I was perfectly willing to have undergone a fair trial, it would have been death for me to have surrendered at that time. The next day, the sheriff came with a posse of over 30 men, most of whom, without any authority, had volunteered their services to arrest me. At least 25 of those men were notorious Ku Kluxers, and known to be by such by the sheriff. The notorious Mose Webster, M-O-S-E Webster, with 6 men, was also operating against us on his own accord, without any authority whatsoever. William and Jim Hoskins were also operating against us with 16 men, none of them with any authority. Jim Hoskins and 5 or 6 of his men were under indictment in the federal court for Ku Kluxing. Bill Smoot was also operating against us with 18 or 20 men without any authority. So you got all the boys in this clan. There's 30 of them. The sheriff, Bill Smoot, and the county attorney, and then some of the judges. So and then the hardcore Ku Kluxers are surrounding Willis Russell. They're closing in on him. There's 30 of them. Sheriff tried to arrest him, couldn't do it, so he formed himself a posse and got 30 people at least. So Bill Smoot was also operating against us with 18 or 20 men without any authority, and Smoot was under the indictment in the federal court for for killing black people, and also in the Owen Circuit Court for the murder of James M. Walker. So the sheriff is in a posse with a notorious murderer. The sheriff at the time had a search warrant in his pocket for the arrest of Smoot, and Dick New also had 20 men acting without orders. 20 more men. So this is like 50 men. There's like 50 men that surrounded them, and some of these men had been dodging the officers of the law and had not been seen before that time for more than a year. So a lot of these people were in hiding. So there's about 50 people about to descend on Willis Russell, and then the state troops showed up. The militia, the governor eventually, I guess Governor Leslie, since it's not Stevenson anymore, sent the state troops, and the state troops went in there and arrested everybody. They said, I don't know who's responsible, who's not responsible, I'm arresting everybody. So that pretty much ends the conflict, and then it comes up to the courts how everybody was went through with that. Willis Russell, he had charges on him, but they were dismissed after they had read his report. But here's Willis Russell's concluding remarks. More than 100 men have been killed, wounded, or driven away from that portion of Owen and Henry counties lying on the Kentucky River by the Ku Klux in the last 3 years. These have been mostly colored people, although some white men are included. Among the number I will mention, Sam Crew, colored and family; James Bourne, who's colored and family; John Dickerson, colored and family; Wallace Dickerson, colored; Jordan Mosby, colored and family, one of his boys being shot; Levi Fishback, who was colored; Al Tolles, colored, and his brothers and mother, Thornton Dunlap, who were colored. This is his words, you know, colored. Peach is a color too, so, you know, which is the skin of white people. That's the color of their skin. In fact, nobody is white or black. Literally, I don't even know. Whoever picked those colors are wrong. Okay, so they killed 4 colored people in Sand, Ripple, and Henry County. They also driven away several white men, among whom are Richard E. Williams, also wounded, William Plasters, C.M. Lindell, W.H. Walker, and all his brothers except James M. Walker, whom they murdered. They also drove away an old man named Hiles and his family. So the Ku Kluxers aren't just terrorizing everybody. I guess they, just like they said, they want to get the radicals, anybody that sympathized with black folks and acknowledged black folks as humanity. They wanted them out of their county. They didn't have any room for anybody who gave a crap for a black person. Many times, allies of black people get violence. Charles Sumner got his ass kicked on the House floor in Congress with a cane. They beat him up with a cane like real bad. He was hospitalized for a while. So when the state guards came in, the Klansmen were all arrested without a fight. And although he had supported a law against mob activities in 1871, Governor Leslie had consistently ignored reports of violence within the state, proclaiming that the situation had been exaggerated by the Republicans for political reasons. Acknowledging the accuracy of Russell's report, however, Leslie agreed with Judge McManama and announced that troops would remain indefinitely in several counties and would be at the disposal of circuit court judges. So Governor Leslie put the militia underneath some of the circuit court judges. In October 1871, the charges against the Klansmen, when the state troops charged everybody, the charges that were against the people who were part of the Klan were dismissed in the United States District Office when the witnesses failed to appear. So they had the charges, they had his report, and they had witnesses, but the witnesses didn't show up. So therefore, they had to, the case was dismissed, and all the Kluxers got to go, most of the Kluxers got to go away free. So just as Willis Russell had feared, all the men who had agreed to testify on behalf of the state had disappeared. Probably murdered. They were probably killed. The Ku Klux Klan probably murdered the witnesses before they got a chance to testify. County sheriffs and a large group of citizens then scoured the country, captured arms, the county, captured arms, implements, and masks and disguises. So after this debacle, they went around and I guess they terrorized the Kluxers, and they took all their weapons and their masks and anything that was tied to that Christian organization, since KKK is the hood, the white hood, and that entire outfit is. I want to say it's the Catholic Church, but it's definitely from a religious order, a religious Christian order of some notable folks in the religion. So they got their dress, and they also proclaimed that they were a Christian organization. That's why they burned crosses. So they dismissed all the charges, though all the witnesses were killed, and then when they went and they captured all the masks and disguises and the guns from the Kluxers. Now the few people that had been arrested, the few Kluxers, Ulysses S. Grant, U.S. Grant, who was a Union general, he eventually, smoot. U.S. Grant, who had fought the Confederacy, pardoned William Smoot and all the Kluxers. So even the ones that had been thrown in jail and that they had enough evidence and they had convicted them, eventually they got to get the president to pardon them, and they got out of jail. And I'm looking at his signature right now, Ulysses S. Grant, President of the United States, all in nice calligraphy. To all, I don't know, is concerned, the presence, the greeting, whereas Smoot and some other people, I can't, it's real tiny writing, but yeah, that's the end of the story. So you have Willis Russell, who basically single-handedly is getting all these regular folks to support him and arming him if he needed to protect himself. It took like 50 different men, including county officials and Ku Klux Klan of all sort of groups. So it was like a coalition of clans, a coalition of Kluxers, including the sheriff and the county attorney and the judges. And then eventually they had the witnesses, and they had them all arrested, and they were ready to put them in jail. And once the witnesses were killed, so there's no witnesses to be seen. The Kluxers are in these illegal terrorist organizations. They're just fucking shitty people, and they put enough pressure and violence, intimidation, and they walk away free. So the witnesses were all killed. A lot of white and black people, mostly black people, were killed. A lot of people ran out. They left the county. Businesses were stifled. Who wants to start new industry when you got this kind of crazy lawlessness that's going on? So you have, all this lawlessness, and only Willis Russell, who was standing up, and eventually he did get a few people to testify, and they wwere killed also. So I almost feel like if Willis Russell didn't write this entire long 10-page paper, that they might not have believed him. They could have, the Kluxers could have had some fake witnesses telling some lies, and they could have tricked Willis Russell. And he was right, that if he would have went with the sheriff then and there, just like many times before, the Ku Klux Klan would break into the jail, and they would have hung Willis Russell. So he was completely in the right to not accept the sheriff's arrest papers, and completely in the right in everything that he did. And it just goes to show you, like, when you're fighting against evil and corruption, how big it is. He was fighting against people, 50 different people who were organized and who had political connections, even to the point where they're killing off witnesses. I mean, that's like mafia shit. And then even after the witnesses were killed, and there's a few people that were indicted, then President U.S. Grant pardons all of them, and they walk free. Bill fucking Smoot, the fucking leader of the goddamn Klan, the fucking sheriff and the county attorney and the judge, I don't know if any of them got any type of punishment whatsoever, except for what Bill Smoot or Willis Russell had did. Arrested a few of them, before they were able to get away. So compare Willis Russell's struggle versus the Negro insurrection when the black people wanted freedom. All the white people immediately got together and tried to squash it. But when the Ku Klux Klan came into town and they had guns and there was an insurrection going on there and they were actually committing murder and crime and killing lots of people, only one white person stood up and did his damnedest to stop the white supremacist violence. So, learn from Willis Russell. Be like Willis Russell. We all should be like Willis Russell. He's a Kentucky hero.